afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here, an exciting 1 vs 1 on Crossroads to the north. We got here Axis is OP. Do you think Relics? Oh man, I think I'm just going to refer to him as Albert because that's going to be very difficult to take seriously in the long run. Hell, it's difficult to take seriously now. Fighting for the Commonwealth though, for the British, for the 52nd Infantry Division. Versus in the south, we got Zerg. 1-1-1-1. Fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 9th Panzer Division here with also documentally chosen machine gun Stube and Austrian Bulletins versus mobile assault, special weapons and Royal Artillery here from Albert with triple infantry. Trenches down here, sections moving forwards with an MD42 following up here for Zerg. We'll follow up with the regular grenadiers, as that tends to be a sort of strategy. Go for a single awesome score just to get something up fast on the field and then sort of follow up with the regular infantry afterwards. Triple section there for Albert as he moves towards the fuel point there for King and Country. Oh, he actually goes for a second Ostrom squad. Might be more due to the Brits there on the field. He's going to go for that one because always tends to just go for one Ostrom squad. Or there might be something new brewing here from Zerg. We'll find out. No, by the way, this match was sent in by Ian, so not by any of the two players here. Section up in the Pioneers, which is basically occupying them, enforcing up. They're kind of trying to flank. You've got to try to pop into the house. We'd actually been able to get a better line of fire on the section there, though, of course, his MD42 would have been more likely to give itself away, and that would have given Albert he had time to pull his section away. In the east, Ostrom slowly advancing. He's making not a direct sort of fast rush towards it. It's going to take a bit of a while. In the west, we've got changes there as well by the fuel points, securing all the points here. No take up yet here. Might be aimed for another section or maybe a Vickers machine gun. We shall see what it ends up here with Albert. And they're going forward, up further forwards. In the house closer here to Albert's cut-off point. Making it harder here for Albert to move about. So Cirque is going in very aggressively, boosted by the Ostrom. And we got actually a universal carrier out there for Albert and the Commonwealth. Interesting choice there. Circling with a mortar, probably anticipating that Albert's going to try and dig in as hard as possible. Plus, of course, the mortar can just ultraflight smoke if he needs to sort of cover up any attacks or maybe crowd against a sniper, as Dave has excellently demonstrated in a previous fight. Point there secured. Got 6 men up here westwards, hitting the points here behind, forcing Stalemate dispatching to deal with it. Got the mortar out here, and we got the universal care sitting out there for King and Country. Slow movement here from the mortar. Section here being suppressed by the MD42 as he charges head on. Not the best move. We got the universal care marine, of course, don't be careful about infantry above, which could Panzer faster. There we go. Ostrom moving in, and there we go. Bit too slow there for Albert. Panzer fast in the universal carrier, damaging it. Got tech up there. Will probably need some sappers soon to fix it up. Though he can, of course, go for the Vickers K. So that way add some more firepower to the universal carrier versus the German infantry. Or of course might long term set up for a flamethrower if he actually makes it that far, because the Ostrom are pretty damn determined to win there, and he's got nothing to stop them. He's got no Vickers machine gun to suppress the bastard and put any sort of serious halt to them. So we'll have to see how it goes down there. Section moving in there, had to get into cover there. Go base defenses saving the day for the universal carrier. Was pretty close there for Albert before he had his universal carrier there lit up like a tin can filled with fireworks. And there you go, Ostrom section pushed back, having suffered grievous losses at the hands of the British forces. Another MD42 rolling up there for Zerg, as Albert there moving up the eastern side. We actually got a machine gun bunker up to defend the eastern victory. A fuel point there, plus cover somewhat the fuel point there as well. It's a very nice move there by Zerg. Very nice move. Certainly seeing some slightly increased use of them machine gun bunkers by Wehrmacht players in general. Sabbath following up there. Universal Care going for the Wasp. That could definitely help them deal with the bunker here, unless Zerg for some reason decides, it'd be a great idea to have telemines there. Second forward with almost done. So I don't think we'll then be taking up as he spend all that manpower and everything else with a slightly delayed, meaning he could actually be planning here a sort of interesting tier 3 rush, but instead of just going for a lot of grenadiers, he's going for a mix of Ostrom machine guns, mortars, and bunkers. So that way stall then as he moves ahead. Oh, the section they're about to get wiped out. Not good there for Albert, not good. Got the Wasp there ready to burn its way through some hands. I believe the Wasp was a Canadian and sort of variant of the universal carrier, which rather caught on between the rest of the British forces. That's a little fun side note there. He needs to be more careful there with his universal care as he just rushed it straight into the Panzerfaust for the second time in a row. Just as soon as he did get it fixed, he ran it straight into it. That was less optimal play there by Albert. Less than optimal. 6-pounder gun following up. He's obviously anticipating Zerg's going to rush out some kind of vehicle, but so far, Zerg is not taking. In fact, he's going for another machine gun bunker. He's heading for another one. Interestingly enough, he's really digging in here for the fatherland. Apparently, it's perhaps some re-elements, or perhaps even the training and replacement battalion from the 9th Panzer Division dispatched ahead. And the training and replacement battalion was essentially a sort of more unique German concept where each sort of, most divisions, with some exception within the infantry divisions, usually that sort of battalion meant for sort of training up replacements, getting them acclimatized to the fighting ahead there, as to sort of being sent to the divisions. Where, say, for some American recruit, just being sent straight ahead to the frontline units. A German recruit, would usually be sent through the training and replacement battalion, where he'd then be sort of trained up further by veterans, ensuring he got the best of acclimatization, and thus was a bit more ready for frontline fighting. Occasionally, these divisions, in particular, the more progressive battalions, would be thrown into the fighting as well there, so as reserves and gaps stoppers there, basically. I'm guessing, I suppose, in this case, this would be the case here with Zerg's elements of the 9th Panzer Division, the training and replacement battalion, forced into the fighting. With the Ostrom then representing less than fully trained troops. Got this pounder gun, they're trying to deal with a bunker, but so far not having fully luck here. Pioneers are caught by the Western fuel pump section, counter-attacking. Lee Enfield singing out. Cutting down those Pioneers, almost got them, and back here troops reinforcing, and the universal care being repaired up again. 6-pounder gun falling back here. The Ostrom was simply too much. And Zerg, by the looks of it, is in fact planning a T3 rush. He's got the tech there, but could easily, I think, get away with just moving ahead pretty fast for the next tier. If he wanted to, though. He might not. We'll see there what it ends up with for Zerg. But his strategy so far is standing out as being a rather unique. Universal carrier good to go again. Filtered sections up there. Albert, buffing up his troops in that sense with more numbers. Nasty hit. Then we got tank hunters as well being repaired. Could of course then also plan to go for the half track to go for some Vickers K's on his men. He needs to support that universal carrier with some infantry with Ostrom and anything else with Panzerfaust. There you go, opening up in the bunker, at least trying to take it out. Tank hunter section moving down here in the west. Troops start maneuver here. Zerg's position by the centre, if they got moved, then we got machine gun, but basically carrying the machine gun bunker's flanks. Also got the mortar there, providing support. Ample of it. Bunker so far, it's not taking a lot of hits. The problem is there's basically this mound of dirt in the way. I don't think Albert here has kind of realised that. Or he's just having some bad luck, but it's certainly absorbing a lot of the hits there. Trying to win the gun in for number 2, covering up the flank there. Suppressing the tank under section. Universal carrier, the Wasp there being pushed back again. He's trying his best here, but it's just not quite getting the way he wants to so far. We also got some flanking on the west side with Ostrom from Zerg. Starts moving in there to fix up the universal carrier. The machine gun bunkers, at least this one, is paying off nicely here for Zerg, as it's forcing Albert there to have to commit more resource to clear out and do something about the fuel pool here in the east, allowing Zerg to more easily just commit forces here. But he's also got another machine gun bunker, making more easy to commit forces over here. Now he's going for the 2-2, so he did not go for a tier 3 rush here, which again, I do think he could have pulled off, but he didn't have to, but I do think he could have tried for it. It would have been rather interesting to see a tier 3 rush supported by machine gun bunkers rather than just, a lot of grenadiers. Though still he's got a lot of infantry, machine guns and mortars overall. I mean, actually having plenty of support weapons could sort of help the Ostrom sort of fight on longer, though he could also consider an officer to support them further, or maybe more machine gun bunkers, who knows. There you go, another trench here by the car point. First one taken out here by mortar fire, setting up machine gun bunker there. He's attempting to down south. Finally got another attempt to take out the eastern one with the Wasp again. Albert here certainly is not giving up on his big dream of taking down that bunker. Gentlemen, I have a dream of burning down every German bunker there is. That seems like a bit of an unhealthy dream, Sergeant. I don't care. Troops reinforcing. 2-2, they almost got the universal carrier. And the tank grenade off. Oh, might lose the 2-2 here, which considering also got the bunker, might just pay off then here for Albert, in particular since he hasn't allowed it to shoot at infantry. Otto, can't we shoot at them? They're shooting at us. Nein, we have our orders, and like good Germans, we obey our orders. Can't we disobey this one for once? Ah, scheiße. Still, that sort of paid off a bit there for Albert. I mean, he got a bunker, he got a 2-2-2. That's not too bad. That's not amazing. They also got an Ostrom squad, so it looks like Albert's beginning to do some damage to the Zerg, though he's not making a lot of progress, but if he can sort of bleed out Zerg efficiently, he can then sort of push through the weakened lines, though it really should get around to doing some serious damage. There's also the bunker here, which could go down soon enough. In particular, now it's got the AC Mark 3 out here. I'm going to do note here that because Zerg didn't try to push it far more fast, he's doing now, he doesn't have any anti-tank gun ready, so he's a bit vulnerable to the AC Mark 3 here. And in theory, he could also, of course, follow up with a half-jet and some Vickers Ks. And there you go, bunker almost down. But I would say they've done reasonably well there for Zerg. Part of me again thinks it is a shame he didn't try to push it with tier 3-4. He might actually have something out now already to counter the AC. And put some serious pressure down Albert. But so far there, 9th Panzer Division, Ausklärung, not an Aufklärung, but Ersatz und Ausbildungsabteilung, I believe that was the word there, is in the fight. As the rest of the 9th Panzer Division is occupied with other matters. S-Mar's going down instead here to cover the eastern fuel point. Sergis not giving up them as flanks. Very good, very good. More trenches here from Albert and the 52nd Infantry Division as it tries to push ahead there to make its objectives for the day. Panzer can only 40 out. He can set up the Suprema Corps pretty soon. In theory, he could even get away with going for tier 4 and build a heavy Panzer Corps and trying to push for a Panther. I wouldn't recommend it, but he can do it. He could do it. Is he doing? Oh, alright, he's just going for Parnies. There's a part of me just like, wait, is he doing it? Is he doing it? That would be neat. Tank on the 6, nothing up there, go MD42 coming up. And then again, note the way he's using machine guns. There's one that's sort of more static, but there's one that is roaming about. They're making it harder there for Albert to sneak about. I mean, tossing all the machine gun bugs out, there's a really lot of ways that Albert's troops could sort of get suppressed if they weren't careful. Instead, the army could help here. Pack 40 opening up in the AC. Troops here reinforcing healing. No grenades here from Albert. No half-tech with Vickers Ks. Ooh, going here for the Panzer Economic 40, though of course he has to be careful there with the machine gun about. Ostrom repulsed. So could consider some Panzer Grenadier, and they're going to soon build the Suprema Corps. Just need to save up a bit of manpower before he goes there. There we go. Mortifying the house. And incendiary RPS rounds as well there. Sergis unleashing every weapon is in his arsenal against that house. And a mortar in place, but note the way it's positioned is very defensive. Like, it can't reach that far forward to cover most of the center even further, so I mean, it's certainly going to make it harder for Zerg, I think, to perhaps fight around here, but it's going to be pretty limited beyond that. So we can see that Albert is feeling perhaps a bit pressured here by Zerg, but at the same time he just wants some artillery to hit those bloody Hun bastards with. So this fight certainly looking reasonably interesting. I mean, again, just 2 German machine gun bunkers is a bit out of the ordinary, alongside Ostrom Doctrine. MG42 opening up there. I'll uncovering here, making good use of those MG42s. And you can go for a Panzer IV very soon. That will certainly put some severe pressure on Albert, who has yet to take up any further himself. He'll definitely have to go, I think, for a second 6-pounder gun to make up for the difference there and basically hold on for dear life until he can then bring up some armor to push back those Hun tanks. Got the MG42 shifting back here. In the west point being secured by the Pioneer. So we got the mortars there opening up. The 3-inch, which is I think roughly around 70mm or so. And artillery called in the machine gun position also will hit all of the S-mines. And there we go, we got take up for Albert, we got take up. Panzer 4, they're finally arriving here for the 9th Panzer Divisions. Ersatz- und Ausbildungsabteilung. Actually, there was one training replacement battalion that was divisional size. That was the one for the Hermann Göring Fallschirm Panzer Division, because it had been merged with a lot of coastal defense units in Holland. So that one was technically like 13,000 men, which is basically a division, but it sort of somehow was described as a training and replacement battalion for Panzer Division, which fought on the Eastern Front. It was a bit weird. But that's how sometimes things ended up. Pack 40 Panzer on the AC, catching Albert's armoured car there in a pretty unpleasant situation. And down it goes. There's a Panzer up there going on around. Strikes through. Section moving up against the Ostrom, holding up here. Veterancy 2, slowly climbing towards Veterancy 3. Their section not focusing on them. And there you go, got the Panzer 4 moving in. Pinned by machine away for the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Shoots, hits some wooden barrels, but no Tommies. Pack 40 moving up again to support the Panzer 4 just in case. Also need to retreat. Good hit in the section members, taking out more than half. And the rest are running here. Desperately on the run. Incendio pushing back the south from the centre with the Pioneers putting heads as well there. Vickers on the way for Albert, but no sign of additional anti-tank until to deal with Zerg's armour. The Vickers seems like a curious choice. I mean, it's not like Zerg has a lot of infantry at the moment. I mean, he does have the 2 Ostrom squads, but it's not like his defining features. The Vickers feels a bit out of place. And what is this? We got hold the line? We got hold the line. Actually being utilised. That's an interesting choice. I think that might have been a misclick, considering the timing where most of his forces are back in his base. Otherwise, this could be, you know, quite impressive. This is just a bit weird. A bit unfortunate, so that's 250 minutes. I mean, it's a really expensive ability. But again, it has the possibility of doing a lot of things. But, like, if you misclick it and it goes off, you're going to be a bit in a pain. But again, it can do a lot. I mean, the air support that comes along with it is actually pretty powerful. And the other bonus there. So, I mean, it's not like a bad ability remotely, but it requires some good setup. And again, if you misclick, may the gods have mercy on you and your munitions. That's quite unfortunate there for Albert. That really just seemed like an unfortunate misclick of some sorts, which is definitely a shame for him. But we got a Stuhl arriving here for Zerg and the 9th Panzer Division. At 40 hanging back, veteran 2-1. Also in front of a lot of angry Brits, making a lot of angry hits. What the hell's going on there? Look, it says I can do this cool thing with the Panzer. Don't do that. It's a waste of fuel, and it's wear und tear on the Panzer. You don't have the spare parts to fix it up just because you had to, I don't know, follow around, you idiot. Pioneers caught here. Do we any telemines down? Actually, just the S-mines here, and I think he replaced someone after they took some fire there from the howitzer. But there you go, MD-42 on watch for the fatherland. Mines being laid down here by Albert. He's close to able to call in a crumble. He actually can call in. He could also go for Firefly. On theory, he could try and go for something bigger like the Comet or the Church. Meanwhile, we got a Panther Force starting the west, attacking the trench in the section. The section in the trench, damn it, other way around. Pioneers being taken fire from the tank. Had infantry. We got machine gun hanging back here to ready to support, but not doing so. No Panzer gun deal for sake. They can go for another Panzer 4 now, and some more armor. That's what Albert's planning there. I am not sure about that at the moment. Ostrom there halted in their tracks by a mine, preventing them from advancing any further. There we go, Panzer Grenadier here for Zerg, some more infantry, some infantry can wipe to support the tanks, and Albert going for a Firefly. Ready to hunt down some German tanks, blow them apart. Zap suppressed here by the MD-42. Panzer Grenadier almost done there for Zerg. No further tech up. Stuke hanging back, noting no pin mark machine gun for the Stuke. And another machine gun bunker up here for Zerg. That is his third machine gun bunker this battle. Overall, his fourth bunker this battle. I think there's like back in Company, the early days of Company 2, you could like get some kind of thing for like building 5 bunkers in a match. And there's even like an achievement for doing it like repeatedly. I think you have to do like 30 matches or something like that. Mortar firing with Firefly, they're ready with Tulip rockets and a tank commander on the watch for any Germans.
A capture point is being overrun.
Smoke screen here from Zerg as he moves towards the center victory point. Very good, very good. And Ford been caught in with the section out in the open. No grenades or machine guns to help cut down the enemy machine gun team there. So, oh, never mind. Head on attack, ultimate works out there. Zerg wasn't quite able to set up there. Oh! And gets a White Panzer moving. Need to be careful though. He's going to need a bung grenade here to have a good chance of things sort of overcoming these numbers. But there you go, section being shredded here by the Panzer Grenadier. Panzer moving from the other side. Nego Geballte Ladung. Oh! Almost wiped the entire section, gaining veterans who won there. And the tank gun Firefly moving westward to attach the German Panzer IV section out in the open. 6-pounder gun opening up. Good hit there. Firefly shoots, scared to penetrate their Panzer IV down to less than half health already. Sharp strike there from Albert. Sharp strike for the King. Back here, reinforcement healing about to happen there for Albert. As for Zerg, nothing further there. Again, there's the option in theory of taking up, or the option just going for more Panzer IVs or Stukes on Osman. He does actually go to take up here. He does go for the tech. Might be Panzerwerfer, Sturmpanzers, or the Panther. We shall find out.
Railway artillery support ready.
Firefly there sneaking about. Section attacking up here, but that's a tank hunter section. Not exactly the best assault unit here. Particularly not without regular grenades to really, make the impact. But he does have upgraded here. Well, weapon max, not going for the Vickers K or the half to go with the Vickers K, instead just going for the regular Bren guns. Either way, that will increase the firepower of the section, will make him a more formidable opponent, and certainly makes Zerg happy he actually teched for Panzer Grenadiers, because otherwise he'd be in a really bad spot, because Zellstrom cannot compete with infantry section with Bren guns remotely. More smoke screens on the center here. Zerg once more advancing for Das Vaterland. Attack forwards here, but forgot about the trench troops getting suppressed. He's calling artillery though. The railway artillery there is being unleashed, but they could now build the heavy Panzer Corps. Panzers need to retreat. So far, no sign of that heavy Panzer Corps of the Zerg and the 9th Panzer Division. Trench completely removed, unsurprisingly. And Zerg going for second Stuke, so he techs and then doesn't build a heavy Panzer Corps. Seems a bit weird, to be honest. You'd kind of figure, once he teched up, he'd just go for it. But perhaps just regretted it. Maybe it was a misclick, kind of like, how Albert ended up wasting 250 munitions. He ended up wasting, how much? Well, 100 man-pound 55 fuel, which is actually quite a lot there. In fact, if you were to convert them into some kind of more abstract resource, probably close to that one, actually. So I guess that could be it there for Zerg. Second Stuke, though, almost done there for Zerg. Centaur though on the way there for Albert. Now the trench here from him. Duke taking hits there from the center. Not the center, but the Firefly. The center there's arriving. The center was the predecessor to the Cromwell, but never really saw any action. Fun fact there. The turret itself, by the way, from the center anti-aircraft tank was actually from the Crusader anti-aircraft tank version. That's a little fun side note. And trench down once more. So we'll build the heavy panzer corps now, or what will Zerg do here? And what will Albert do to try and break the stalemate? Because he's falling behind at victory points as this keeps on. Needs to do something bigger on the right flank to try and catch Zerg off guard. He could try and put something on the left flank, though that is currently where he's got most of his forces waiting. So a big attack into it could encounter some serious issues there for Albert. He could lay down a smoke screen around here. Ooh, troops are pressing with aim for 2 Panzer opening up. Panzer goes there, well repulsed. Got the center. Firefly moving over here. We got Austin repulse center moving in, and they're opening up there with its twin 20mm Polston guns. Creeping ahead here with the center. Catch the machine gun, then quickly shredding it in a matter of moments. Displaying the lethality of the centaur. Firefly shifting about, centaur as well, 6-pounder gun hanging about. In the east we got a trench down from Zerg. Holy moly, now even the Germans are building trenches. Outstanding. Big push in the centre, but without a smoke screen it is very risky. And without any anti-tank support it's also pretty damn risky. Mortar though, texture hit from the British mortar, that's careless there by Zerg. Moving his own mortar too far ahead, they should know that is where the British mortars could hit, and they definitely have the chance of just insta-wiping it. Section of the web pushed back. Firefly did not presume they could have tried and swung around here, but he might be worried about Stooks, so Pack 4 is something they're hanging around ready to support it. Pack 4 we hit into the centre's line of fire. Pack opening up with the target weak point, need to get the 6-pounder gun to Firefly down to support the centre. We got a artillery call in there. Firefly needs support there, and he's going to lose the centre. He's going to lose it. He's opening up with the Panther Force advances, and there you go, centre down. Panther 4 though also goes down. That's definitely a bigger loss there for Zerg. See, we also lose the Pack 40 here. And there you go, the Pack 40 goes down to artillery fire from Albert. Zerg might have reached, and Albert was able to punish him for it. He's going for an Osman now, but it might be a bit too late there. He still hasn't built the heavy Panzer Corps, so I mean, I'm certainly increasingly thinking that Tier 4 was a misclick by Zerg, because you just don't see much. I mean, there's been increase on it, and I think it's because, you know, people are preparing themselves for the upcoming patch where Tier 4 suddenly becomes a bit more viable for the Wehrmacht, but Zerg does not seem to be interested in actually testing that one out, and again, I'm assuming it was a misclick at this point. Another Firefly boy here from Albert. He's just going hard on the Fireflies, countering any German armor as hard as possible. Need to careful section out in the open there. Firefly moving in, trying to destroy the mortar there. And here the enemy force holding down the British sappers. And War Pioneers here for Zerg to help repair his armour, I imagine. There you go, second Firefly out here for Albert and the 52nd Infantry Division. Osman out on his own, they need to be careful. I mean, he doesn't know there's double Fireflies out there. They did know it. He probably wouldn't be playing his Osman so aggressively because those double Fireflies can quickly do a lot of damage to any tank, particularly with those rockets on top. There you go, Osman barely dodges a severe response there from the British. And he's going for a munitions cache now. Out of all the things he could go for, he goes for a munitions cache. Curious choice there. And overall still a sign of that heavy panzer corps. Or anything else. Stugging up on the far right flank, others Stugging on the west, Osman up the side. There's some planning for the larger assault here. Other to attack the opponent's base of flank. We got a munitions cache up from Albert as well. They are both going for munitions caches on the cutoff points. Neither player considering fuel caches even remotely interesting, it would seem. Smoke's been down there from Zerg in the centre. We got the Fireflies moving ahead here, clearing up lines of fire with the Sappers. Oh, the Osman gets caught here by the Fireflies, almost by the 6-pounder gun as well because he caught him moving, but he could still get the Osman there with the Fireflies. Falls back though, he's afraid to move ahead there. That was actually kind of neat, and the mortar's exposed. So Crossroads hasn't quite seemed to register that his mortar has no longer got the terrain cover. There you go, the crew gets mowed down in a matter of seconds. That was pretty sneaky, and there you go, mortar tube destroyed by the Firefly. And MD42 now moving into the section, being shredded as well. The reason this is to kill bar is because they're crewed by Ostrom, so they have all the negative penalties there, so which means they're easy to hit. So basically walking them straight into these virtually 3 sections with Bren guns is pretty much a death sentence. Panzer this sadly failed to make much of an impact in the west. Stu moving up on the eastern side, planning a deeper ambush here against the British armour. Needs to be fast about it. Now the Pack 40 on the way for him. Cache being attacked. Still no attempt to hit Panzer Corps or anything like that. Ostrom moving in. There's basically using, I think, the Ostrom here scouts for the Stug, ensuring the Stugs don't run into anything nasty. Calling it artillery on the retreat path as well. Sneaky. Making him harder to move the sections about there unless he wants to risk them getting knocked out. Right here, they make a mistake. He probably should call in the anti-tank gun rather than here in the centre. This is Ostrom should have been able to spot the anti-tanks at that point. He got the Pack 40 arriving, but ended up just being a bit of a waste of resource there for Zerg, to be honest. That ended up being a waste of resources. Stug lost ammunition, just tossed right out the window. So now Zerg is suddenly in a slightly stickier situation here. That's whatever advantage he had has, for now at least, shrunk in. Now Albert, I think, is sort of holding most of the cards. And certainly the more advantageous cards since he's got overall larger force. With infantry, he needs to clear out Zerg's Ostrom, and he's got Fireflies, he needs to counter any of Zerg's armour. So Zerg really needs to reconsider strategy and tactics. Otherwise, he might find himself crushed by his British opponent. Punches this. Interesting enough for the Pioneers. Let's put, oh, there we go. The flamethrower, but then pops a grenade and moves the flamethrower team ahead. That seems a bit of a waste. Shut the flamethrower team first. They almost got the section, then start the trench attack. How does that push back in before two come from behind an old fence? The other one is still operable. So yeah, it has been handling his both his machine guns pretty well, which is good. We got the Fireflies moving up there. Also moving up now the section there, flying with his first on the flank. We got the Fireflies moving in there, and I think here that Zerg senses that something bad is coming. He immediately pulls it back, but the Panzer's almost being shredded here. 9 seconds by the Bren section's negative cover. Be careful about that. Big mistake there by Zerg, and he got punished once more by Albert. Another sent off Albert. Zerg still not building a heavy Panzer Corps. Now it's just down to the Ostrom, which puts him at a real disadvantage versus all the British infantry. Zerg's plans do seem a bit frayed at the moment here, as Albert is increasingly getting dominant here versus him. Mines being laid down to come against any flanks there from Zerg. Good work by Albert. Second centaur there for Albert. Second centaur. Another pack 40 for Zerg, and he's just filling so much fuel. I mean, if he's building lots of Stooks or Panzer IVs, he could take the Panthers, Storm Panthers, Panthers. I mean, there's so much he could do, and he just goes for pack 40s. I'm not entirely sure what Zerg is up to, but it certainly does not inspire me with a lot of confidence. MD42 there in the trench. And Anvil Tactics now here for Albert. Anvil Tactics. Also got a fuel cache up here by Albert, by the way. Pioneers being utterly annihilated here by Centaur and Mortar Fire. And here in the far west, Austin dealing with two sections with the Bren guns. The results are pretty one-sided, and Zerg immediately pulls back his Ost from there to avoid any pointless waste of manpower and experience.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Finally building that heavy panzer, of course, looks like Zerg has decided to make something out of his misclick there and go ahead for something bigger. They're still going to struggle over the double Fireflies. They're basically his biggest challenge. He needs to sort of flank them good, but draw them into some anti-tank guns, so that way deal with them. Antboy getting more aggressive in the west or eastern flank. There goes into the back 40 in the Stug. Almost got it. Osman up the west side, but Centaur there looks to avoid death for now. Heavy Panzer Corps there for Zerg and the 9th Panzer Division. Got the veterans of the 3 MD42 quickly holding up the section members, so they try to push ahead there for the center victory point. And we got another chilly call in here by Albert. He loves calling it in. And sections continue to advance despite the fire from the Osman as well. They search them with flak high explosive rounds just tearing into them. Airburst shells going off next to them, detonating in the very skies. So entertainers, they're shooting at the Firefly, pushing it back. Another trench there by Albert, preventing Zerg from moving up.
The capture point is being overrun.
A lot of artillery fire there from Albert's 2 25-pounder guns. Pack 40 in the centre, getting off a good hit. Taking Pack 40 slowly flanking in there, ambushing the British Fireflies. There's being repaired. Very nice work there by Zerg. Another MG42 for Zerg. Instead of going for armor again, using his heavy panzer corps, goes for another MG42. That seems like a really weird choice by Zerg here. Another really weird choice by Zerg. It feels a bit out of touch, to be honest. He's about to lose another infantry squad here in the process, plus his pack. No idea why he's going for that. No, cancel it for another pack 40. Again, I think it's time he needs to look into using some of his fuel there, instead of just building up a massive fuel hub he can't use. Target weak point will be pretty good against the Fireflies. MD42 being pushed back here, too much Bren fire, and of course too much mortar fire. And the MD42 veteran 3 got wiped. Bit of a loss there for Zerg. Bit of a loss, to put it mildly. Second attempt there, got it back. But Zerg's actions are starting to seem increasingly confused again. He built a heavy panzer craft, detected for ages ago, ends up not using it, goes for MD42s, then Pack 4s, can't quite seem to decide what he wants to do with his opponent. And there's not really sort of much attempted outmaneuvering his opponent either. So I'm not entirely sure what Zerg is up to at the moment. It certainly appears confused to me. This is can try to advance in the 8042 inside the trench. Austrian support there, got the Centaur, Fireflies moving in, he's quickly moved that Pack Force to the Austrian here. I mean, if you can sort of ambush them with the Pack Force and the target beat, he might have a chance of this, the Fireflies and the Centaur. Austrian taking caught here with the Fireflies, Austrian moving ahead, needs to get the Pack 40s up, needs to open up, and needs to do some Schnell work there, and with target weak point, Fireflies continue to blast away at the Austrian there, taking down to half health. Could get one of the Fireflies, maybe. But no, gets away, Centaur down to half health. Panzerfaust off there, maybe hunting down with the Pack 40s. Trench on the centre victory point as well. They're making much harder for Zerg to get rid of it. Stube moving in there, almost got the Centaur there. Small victory here for Zerg and the 9th Panzer Division. He can just finish it off there. But he does not. He pulls back. Nope, moves out the Stug ahead there. He still has a chance that it's getting slim. It's managing here his chance. And it's lost. Centaur escapes here. Fireflies anti-tankers moving ahead again. Anti-tankers with the German sides pulled back. Got the trench in the centre with a 200 munitions call-in artillery ability there. Now he goes for the MD42 again. I have no idea what Zerg is thinking. I have no idea what he's thinking even remotely with this. He needs to get more aggressive, yet he seems not very insistent on playing a very defensive play versus Albert.
We're losing a capture point.
I definitely have to describe that as a bit weird. So there you go, 3 MG42s now. For whatever reasons. For whatever reasons. We got Henning Engineers up there for Albert as well. He's floating a lot of resources well, but that's more understandable because he's at full pop cap. Like, there isn't anything he can do with the resources. He can't build emplacements. He mostly can build caches in him, and then he's got limited room for more caches. So Albert's got an excuse. Zerg on the other's got no excuse for floating, 500 fuel because he just keeps going for other things instead of going for armor. And getting more aggressive again. It feels like Zerg is just trying to play a highly defensive static game versus opponent while being within range of a lot of artillery against the opponent who uses a lot of artillery, which really diminishes this kind of strategy. And there you go, machine guns there getting pummeled by the 25-pounder guns. It keeps sounding like there's some airburst shells going off, but I don't see them, which is bloody confusing. Panzerfaust there, off. They're closing up in the Firefly again. Can't spot for them. Could have a Pioneer squad around moving back there to sort of spot for the anti-tank guns. And we got grenades up now here. So that's actually the one thing you can do, which is upgrade his infantry further. In this case, there's one upgrade left to go, which is the grenade. So we still need to get close enough to use the grenades. And Zerg now going for the Panzerwerfer. I mean, that could help with stuff like the anti-tank, some other dug-in elements, so not a bad choice. At least he's spending some of that fuel. He's spending it, which is good. Huzzah! Even. Almost got that Panzerwerfer ready here for the 9th Panzer Division. And there you go, Panzerwerfer out here for Zerg. Pioneer's about to get wiped by the center. Pioneer forgot about that. Truly called in on the machine gun in the trench. Looks like he's banking for some kind of big assault here versus Albert is trying to clear out some of the support. Oh! Trench destroyed with the Vickers in it. And the munitions cache is almost gone as well. I mean, nice being hit the Fireflies. Also, we need to fall back. Need to get the pack force support here. Panther is going to leave a barrage somewhere. Cash down. Almost got one of the Fireflies here. The Zerg finally going to make some kind of push here versus Albert. He's going to try and aim for victory. What's going to happen? What is going to happen? Panther firing. On the anti-tank gun. Yes, yes. There we go. Almost got it. That was a bit anticlimactic, really. Versus support rooms have been battered here by Albert. And he's pulling back all of his anti-tank weapons, leaving his front very exposed now to the center. Not good there for Zerg, not good. Got one of the machine guns there, with a few well-placed hits from that front Polston. Closing in efficiency too. Also, I'm trying to get out there, getting punished pretty badly for it. Fixing up the Stug. Blowing out the anti-tank guns. Panther almost ready to unleash hell again. The machines moving about. Pack 14 is getting the support immediately. Needs to get the Stu again as well. Fireflies moving in. Still no target weak point here from Zerg. Why isn't he targeting the weak points? Stu down here to the Fireflies and the anti-tank guns. Albert at this point just sort of slowly advancing here on the Germans. Pack 40 wiped there by an artillery strike there from Albert. Centaur veteran C2 now. Good lord, 24 kills. This is pretty bad for Zerg. He's down to just one Pack 40. Lost an Ostrom squad, trying to crew the other Pack 40. Panzer moving in. Need to be careful there with the Panzerwerfer. Still got the machine gun bunker here. Close range Panzerwerfer barrage almost takes out a section, but only almost. Meaning there's still someone who can be used to sort of form the nucleus of a new squad. As they're reinforced. Now the munitions cache down, we've also got a fuel cache on the curve point down. Albert immediately spending the resources got to at least sort of build up further an advantage when he loses units again. Making things further difficult for Zerg, who just keeps going for more manpower reliant units, but again nothing that uses fuel, no Stugs, no Panthers. Leaving him with 600 fuel now. Zerg finding himself repositioning with the little ground he's got here versus Albert. Slowly moving on to the defensive. More artillery called in. He's making effective use of that pyrotechnic supplies upgrade. Airburst shields there, shattering a shed. Interesting enough, the things inside the shed are apparently indestructible. machine gun fire there, stopping the British from advancing on the field. But there you go, more. Oh, it's calling in grenade, tossing in grenades and setting off. Yes, we've got the Fireflies advancing in. The bunker's not going to last long. Got a Pack 40, the remaining Pack 40 at the front line here. Still no target weak point for Zerg. It just seems like, oh, there we go. He's finally going for it. Only took him 50 minutes. There we go. Almost got a Firefly. Veteran to 3. Main gun out on the Firefly. There we go. Firefly goes up and smoke center advancing. Crocodile called in over Albert. As soon as he loses something, he just calls it in because he has the resources. Hell, he's technically got the resources. Almost call in a second one if he loses that one almost immediately. Sensor there going for the Panzerwerfer and takes it out, shredding it in a matter of moments. Pack 40, Vetri figuring out. We've got the Osman there trying to mention support here. Gaining Vetri 2 there for the Osman in the process. Centaur almost with 3. He hasn't moved with the Pack 40 trying to set up there for dealing with it. Might be, yeah, it's too late now. Almost got it, but the Pack 40 crew is gonna go down to the Centaur, and there you go, annihilated. Osman's almost got the Centaur there though. Crocodile burning up the Pack 40. We've got a Stug on the way there for Zerg, and finally the Centaur goes down. That thing really did a lot of damage here for Albert. Pack 40 crew by some pluggy Osman. The other one goes down. More Osman being called in by Zerg as he's desperately trying to save the situation as it goes increasingly desperate. Pack 40 getting toasted up there. And the remaining Firefly opening up on the Osman. Church moving in as well there. We got Blitzkrieg to try and get away fast. And looks like he's able to make it. Though pretty close. Stug arriving here for Zerg and the German army. The 9th Panzer Division. Firefly there approaching Vetri too swiftly. Osman out in the open just getting scorched. Stug moving in, shoots, bounce, or misses. I think actually by the looks of it. Second shot bounces though. And this, I think it's safe to say, it is GG here for Zerg. He has lost his engagement despite having a strong start versus Albert. He wasn't really able to use it for anything, you know, long-term sensible. Plus his overall attack approach here for dealing with Albert as he's dug in here was basically attack head-on. No real attempt to break a flank. In fact, he just played defensively versus instead, allowing just Albert to grind him down rather than trying to take the advantage in the offensive, just push for something, you know. I mean, it just seemed like, you know, Zerg did not know what to do. Like, he just sort of... I'm not entirely sure what word to use here, but it sort of seemed like he just sort of some kind of mishap on a strategic level and just sort of approached this in the completely wrong manner, because in this sort of finding, the Brits will have the advantage to sort of go for attritional warfare, and rather than sort of trying to push for, you know, fast ending, which, you know, what the very much should want to do, he just sort of allowed the Brits to grind him down. He just kept on with it rather than trying to play to the very much advantage, somehow, you know, pull through. And I think that sort of cost Zerg here the fact that he's just complete strategic misjudgment of the situation, trying to play way too defensively and getting crushed by Albert because of that, because Albert just has the tools for just grinding him down. So I think that's sort of roughly what happened there. Again, Zerg had a good, strong early game, made good use of bunkers, Osman, the likes there, but as the game went on, just failed to utilise his advantage, and also failed to utilise his resources efficiently. He just floated so much fuel, which could have gone for so many tanks of some kind to just push against Albert with. Albert had a weaker start, but able to slowly turn around, then punish Zerg for his mistakes. Over made good use of infantry and artillery there, making it very difficult for the Zerg to just keep up with his, you know, defensive do-nothing strategy. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell a friend, share it with everyone. If you've not sent in a replay or provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Linking to you. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow for another signing episode. Bye.